Hey guys, in this episode, I will be showing you how to mount a TV on a wall. But check this out, this wall is not your everyday wall. It actually has water lines running behind it. So I will not only give you step-by-step instructions how to easily mount any TV on a wall, I will also be giving you my personal tips I've learned over the years how to do just that with pipes behind the wall. So let's get started. Alright guys, tip number one. When buying a mount, don't ever go by the size of the mount that it can support. Always go by the weight. A lot of the cheap ones are always going to say like 1,000,000 inches they can support, but it's all about the weight. The more weight they can handle, the heavier the duty they are. So make sure that your mount can support at least 25% more than the weight of your TV. Extremely important, especially with ones that swing out, because if you don't, as soon as you start going away from the wall, your TV is going to sag. Even though you mount the mount on the wall straight level, it's just not gonna work. They are going to sag. Extremely important. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to find the center of your wall. What I always like to do is I like to measure the wall on the top, and then I like to measure the wall on the bottom, because you just never know if the walls are straight. And when finding the center, I like to be precise. So now the next thing I'm doing right here, I'm finding the height of the TV. I'm just showing the customer where I think the TV is gonna look okay for the room. She had a small kid, and she was worried about the kid getting on the TV, so she wanted the TV higher than normal. Usually when mounting a TV on a wall, I like the bottom of the TV to be about 40 to about 44 inches off the floor. But since she had a special request, I made it 48 inches high. And I took the measurements of the TV, and then I transferred that to the wall. Finding the center is very important, because here you can actually just base everything off the center. As you can see, I transfer the measurements on the wall, so that way I can give the customer a visual. Now the next thing I'm doing here is I'm checking the wall for any water pipes. And this is a Milwaukee camera that I use, and you can see there's a pipe right there. Extremely important to always check the wall before making any holes or drilling anything. You can see the pipes right there, and it was actually right against the wall. It wasn't even running through a joist or anything. So if I started making holes, the likelihood of piercing the pipe is extremely high. Anyways, check the wall for pipes, gas pipes, electric wires, plumbing, everything. Be very vigilant, especially if the other side of the wall has a bathroom. Always assume there are pipes in that wall. Now, if the other side of the wall there isn't anything, like a bathroom or kitchen or any other water sources, if the house is a two-story house, then check upstairs. If there is a bathroom above you, then assume there is always going to be water pipes through that wall. Now what I'm doing right here, I'm just showing the customer, if that's where she wants the TV, and confirming everything before I do anything else on the wall. Now here what I'm doing is I'm just putting the mount on the wall, on the TV itself, like assembling everything as if it was actually going on the wall. I like doing this especially because this is gonna be the hardest part of the job for most people doing this the first time, or just the first few times when you start mounting TVs on a wall. This is what gets everybody. This is what took me a long time to figure out, and I just learned a special way to actually make my life easier. This part may seem challenging for some, but it's really easy. Just follow the instructions. The instructions All these mounts are going to give you step by step, just follow it. Normally it's going to be two brackets that mount on the TV itself. Behind your TV there are going to be some holes, and then that's where exactly where they mount onto. After that, everything is about the same on most mounts. Make sure you assemble everything, even the bracket that actually goes on on the wall, like this one right here. Once you have everything together, the next thing you got to do is take your measuring tape and do exactly what I'm doing here. Measure from the bottom of that mount to the bottom of your TV. And as you can see over here, I got 8 inches. That measurement is extremely important because that is the measurement you're going to be transferring on the wall. That will give you exactly where your TV is going to be mounted on the wall. And I'm talking about the actual TV mount, because as you can see, the TV mount is offset. It's not exactly in the center. So every TV is going to be a little different. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to transfer those 8 inches on the wall. Remember earlier we measured 48 inches from the floor to the bottom of the TV. So that blue tape in the middle signifies the bottom of the TV. So what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring 8 inches up from the bottom of the tape. And what that is going to do for me is going to give me exactly where the bottom of that mount is going to go on the wall. And then I mark it with a pencil just to double check. And that is exactly where the bottom of that mount is going to go on the wall. It's simple as that. And as long as you follow your measurements, when you put that mount on that wall right there and you mount your TV, the bottom of that TV is going to line up with the bottom of that blue tape on the bottom, which is going to be 48 inches off the floor as the customer requested. Super easy to do. Now a lot of people get fixated on mounting the TV on a stud. Well, you will not always be able to get every single hole in a stud, and that is normal. So as long as you get at least one hole in a stud and get a screw in there, you'll be fine, because one single screw will be able to hold, a few 100 pounds easily. And most TVs are not going to be any heavier than 100 pounds, unless you get the super sized ones, which usually come in with a 24, even a 28 long bracket, because those are meant for heavier TVs. So what I'm doing right here, I'm just trying to line up the stud that I found behind the wall, which is that blue tape you see up there. And then also what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to miss that water pipe in the wall. And here I've noticed that it wasn't just one pipe going in the wall. There was one pipe going up and coming down from the ceiling. Actually, no, going up from the bottom, because there was a shower right behind it. But there was another one also going across, and there was a stud on the other side, so I couldn't see from the from that hole that it was pre-existing in there. So what I did is I drilled another little hole on the right hand side and stuck the camera in there just to see what was on the other side of that stud, and which way the pipe was going, and so that way I can know exactly where I can stick a screw in. And then there was another pipe in there, and that pipe was actually inside the stud, and it wasn't in the middle. It was actually offset closer to the drywall, so I couldn't even use a short screws, like you're supposed to. So that way you can just still use the stud but miss the pipe. So I didn't want to risk it. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm just trying to see what's behind that wall, and this is gonna take a little longer. This is why when installing TVs and doing estimates over the phone, you always gotta ask your customer questions, because these types of jobs you can easily quote over the phone, and you don't really have to go in person to do an estimate, because that's just wasting money and wasting time.
So when the customer called me, I asked her, is there a bathroom on the other side of the wall? If this is this a two-story house? And obviously, the more information you're able to get, the more accurate your estimate is gonna be. If this was just a regular install on a wall, and all I had to do was just find the center and do everything else I showed you earlier, I mean, this is a 75 buck job, and it will take me less than 30 minutes. But the longer that job takes you, the more money you're gonna charge. So if you wanna you know see how much I charged for this specific job, well, just stick to the end, I'll let you know. But what I'm doing right here is actually I finally decided exactly where it's gonna go, and I was able to get one screw and a stud, and then the other ones actually that I have on the wall, I'm using toggle bolts, anchors that you see right now. Very easy to use, just stick them in the wall, and they can easily hold over 200 pounds. I've never had any issues with them, and I use them all the time. For a lot of the tools and materials that I use in my videos, guys, you can check the affiliate links in the description if you're interested in purchasing any of them. But anyways, so that's what I'm doing here. I got my toggle anchors inside those holes, and I just securing the bracket on the wall, um, making sure that everything is leveled. And actually, I think this one had a built-in level with it. But yeah, super easy to do. Once you actually drill your holes, it's like a matter of minutes before you're done. The longest part of the job is just finding the center, transferring the measurements on the wall, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I was just showing you here that the bracket is level on the wall and centered. Now, a lot of the times, sometimes there may be stuff in the way that you're not able to, center the bracket on the wall. That's okay. Your bracket doesn't have to be exactly centered to the wall, because once you mount the TV on the wall, you can easily move the TV left and right. You'll see here in a minute what it looks like behind it. And for most mounts, it will look the same. Now, this TV here was super lightweight. I think no more than 40 pounds. I mean, super lightweight. I think it was 65 inches. Um, or 60 inches. And obviously, the bigger the TV, the more money you're going to be charging. So just keep that in mind. It's always good to ask the customer, what size of TV you're trying to mount on the wall. But anyways, here, let me show you real quick what the bracket looks like. So the arms you mounted on the TV itself, they hook on the mount. Um, they drop in. So what you do is you pick the TV up higher than the mount, get it flush against the wall, and then drop it down, and then that will easily secure the TV on the mount. And you can tell when it hooks, because as soon as you let go, the TV is not going to fall off the wall. And a lot of the mounts, the flush mounts like this, usually have wing nuts on the side that you can adjust the tilt up and down. So make sure when you install these, you teach your customer how to utilize their mount, because most customers are not going to know how to do this, so you have to tell them. Because a lot of the times in the past, when I first started, I did not teach the customer how to work their mounts, and then the TVs moved or something happened, and then they thought it was not installed right, so I got callbacks, and it wasn't my fault. It was just I didn't teach the customer how to move the TV up and down, or swivel, or do any of the adjustments, and you know themselves, because you're not always going to be there to do it for them. You can do it one time, and then that's the freebie. After that, if you need to come back and you taught the customer how to do it themselves, then obviously they're going to have to pay you for your time. Alright, so once you're done, there's a set screw that goes right on the bottom that prevents the TV from being lifted and unhooked from the mount on the wall. So this is just a screw that goes on the bottom, and you screw it in. Make sure you show that to the customer, so if they ever need to dismount the TV from the wall, they can They need to go underneath it, unscrew the screw, and then they're gonna be able to, take it off the wall. And here I'm just making the final adjustments, going left, right, checking everything, making sure the TV is leveled, tilting it. The customer is telling me exactly where she wants the TV, and that's what I'm doing here, just making sure it looks good on the wall. And obviously, once you're done, don't forget to take the masking tape off. I've done that in the past, but I've forgotten. Um, but it just happens. And that's about it. The last thing you need to do is just turn the TV on, hook the cables, and then now this wall was already pre-wired. I mean, they already ran the wires through the wall, so I didn't have to do that for her. Actually, I did run the wires for this one, but the holes were already pre-made. So when giving an estimate, make sure you ask your customer if they're gonna need the wires run behind the wall, and obviously if they say yes, the price is gonna be higher and all that good stuff. Alright, so for those of you wondering how much I charge for this job was $250, and it took me about a little over an hour. And the reason why it took that long, it wasn't so much about the installation itself, it was about programming that TV. That TV is just a piece of crap. This customer, she wanted it, it was free, but do not ever buy that TV. You saw the brand on the screen. You have to make an account, and then you cannot set it up unless you make an account. So she set up the account, it wasn't activating, she had to call customer support, we had to wait several minutes, they had to activate it and all over the phone. It was complicated. I never had this happen before. Usually I can test the internet, it's working, everything's running, but not this time. Anyways guys, if you like the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, any comments comment below, and as always, I will see you next time.